Hello everybody! Hello everybody, welcome to the Daily Sip. My name is Oliver and my mission is to make you excited about organic Japanese green tea. And today what we're gonna dive into is into the topic of Shincha. Shincha is a very famous tea in Japan, and especially in early times about this tea in a certain period of the year was a huge buzz. So what is Shincha actually? So Shincha is the very first harvest of the year. Especially in early times, this was very important that you get the very first harvest and that you consume it as fresh as possible. As in early times, we didn't have the logistics, we didn't have the cooling places to store the tea in a proper environment. It was always important to just get the first tea very fresh to you and consume it directly. Especially in the 70s, 60s and 70s in Japan, people were able or were willing to spend a big amount of money just to get the freshest and the best Shincha they could have. And since then the tea industry certainly has evolved, and what also made a bigger change in the tea consumption is also the refrigerated stocking or storage places where the teas could keep fresh. Because when you had in the early times, you didn't have the opportunity to store the tea fresh, you had the tea kind of withering, or it just changed it and loosened in quality, or even turned into or kindly slightly fermented and then had a bad taste. So that was very important that people really were able to consume the tea directly, and especially the very first harvest was very liked by the Japanese people. So nowadays it has changed a little bit. Still, Shincha remains a good period. Shincha remains like this spring period, the very first period where people want to consume. And the faster you are in your yield as a farmer, the more advantages you are in after selling a good Shincha harvest and then selling off also your tea at a higher price. So this is the reason why often for Shincha we have cultivars, so green tea plant types, which are used that are budding earlier. So here, for example, I brought the Shincha from Mr. Watanabe from the island of Yakushima. This one here is a mix of Asatsuyu and Kuritawase. And Kuritawase and Asatsuyu are both early budding cultivars, so they are growing faster than, for example, Yabukita, which amounts for 70 to 80% of the yield of Japanese green tea in Japan. So here you have a typical example of a farmer choosing two cultivars of green tea plant types, which are then giving earlier the harvest, and then he can sell the tea earlier. For example, the Kuritawase, it is said that it is ready 10 days before the Yabukita yield, so you can sell actually 10 days earlier your tea, and this gives you just the advantage of being faster, especially then with your Shincha. So here we talk about the blend, and I would say we just dive into it and we really have a look at how the tea is. What I know is a Kuritawase is also known for its kind of a little bit of a milky, kind of a smoother, kind of nearly a creamy aroma. And the Asatsuyu, this one here is also growing, is an early budding cultivar 5 to 6 days before the Yabukita, and here we are more on a little bit of more of a grassy and slight citrusy note normally when we just take the Asatsuyu as it is. But let's go and dive directly into it. So I just show you already the tea. So this is the tea I'm using today. You see a little bit of bigger leaves and also a mix of Asatsuyu, which are a little bit smaller leaves, a typical asamushi, so meaning that it is lightly steamed. It's not a fukamushi, deep steamed tea. So just a typical sencha in this way, but a Shincha as it is the spring or the first and early harvest. Good. We're gonna brew this at 60 degrees as always, and then we're gonna have a sip of this. So this tea is coming from the island of Yakushima. What's actually special about the island of Yakushima is it is a subtropical island, so normally you have tea which is growing very fast throughout the whole year. But the climate or the microclimate on this island is very special due to the high mountains on the island. There you definitely have a change in the way that the winters are quite cold, and the cold winter, which is kind of blowing down from the mountains down into the valley, gives quite a cold climate, and this then gives the tea plant really time to absorb a lot of nutrients and not become a flat or kind of a non-tasting tea, because the plant is not giving so many yields. But you can then have over winter time a pretty long time where the tea plant can recuperate and can really absorb the nutrients from the soil. And that's why Yakushima is a great island also, even if it's subtropical, a great island to make very tasty and flavorful tea. Good, I think here we are getting closer. Then let's just have a sip of this. It is really nice. The kuritawase gives it this nice, a little bit creamy, nearly a little bit nutty flavor. And the asatsuyu swings a little bit with it. Just at the top you have a nice grassiness of this tea, but it's more kind of shifting on the side, or kind of staying on the side of this a little bit milky, denser, sweet aroma. Do I get any fruits? And it's more a little bit in the artichoke, milky. Yeah, there's a slight banana taste as well. So it doesn't drift off too much in kind of this mango, very fruity papaya direction, but it stays a little bit around the artichoke, a little bit of sweetness, but it's kind of a thicker sweetness, like a banana when you how you say that, smash the banana and then you eat it like this, like the banana puree. And it has a slight sweetness. I'm gonna just heat the water up a little bit more. Already enough. Let's go and have the second one. Good. I push now through heating up the water. I push now a little bit more the grassy side and a little bit more the astringent side as well. Now we're around 70 degrees with the water. Still very smooth, impressive. Quite nice in terms of really smooth, sweet. It doesn't get too much in the fruity side, but there's kind of a shy, small taste, kind of a buttery, a little bit of a milky taste, a little bit of artichoke, a little bit this banana peel taste, banana puree taste. And a slight grassiness. So I assume that this tea is definitely more or kind of stronger on the kuritawase side. So more of kuritawase and just a little bit of asatsuyu in it, because the grassy flavor, which I know normally from the asatsuyu, is not really coming through. So it's quite slight. There's a little bit in the background. Yeah, there's a little bit asatsuyu. You can push that asatsuyu a little bit, but it is definitely much stronger on the kuritawase side. So a little bit this creamy, milky, beautiful, a little bit of artichoke, a little bit of banana. It's like slight banana sweetness, but it's very, very, very soft, a very delicate flavor profile. So a little bit more on the milky and sweet flavor profile. Very delicate and very soft. Good. So this was this little introduction to Shincha, give you a little bit of background on Shincha and then tasting a Shincha at the same time. So I hope you like this one. And if you ever have a question, do not hesitate to ask me anything. I'll be more than happy to answer it. Good. See you and maybe see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.